All good, as always. Well, ladies and gentlemen, according to my Doctor Who watch, it's time for another sci-fi review. And this time I'm going to do something kind of different, actually. My next sci-fi review is going to be a kid's sci-fi. And it was something that I remembered watching when I was a little kid. I mean, heck, I even remembered it. I even collected the action figures of them when I was young. And the franchise I'm going to review for you today is none other than Bucky! Captain Bucky O'Hare! Evildoers and toads beware! That's right. I'm going to review Bucky O'Hare. Now, before I'm going to get into this Bucky O'Hare, first, a little history. Now, not many people know that Bucky O'Hare started out as a comic book way back in 1991. And it only came out for like 5 issues. And the comic book company who published Bucky O'Hare comics was, of course, Continuity Comics. Continuity, boom. And as you can see in the cover here, this here is Willie DuWitt, who just got into Bucky's ship, and he says, "Oh no, I'm trapped in a dimension of funny animals." And there he is saying that. And there's Bucky and Dead-Eyed Duck saying, Where? Now, for those of you who wants to know about the story itself, well, here's how it goes. A long time ago, this is like an animal-verse, where now the entire galaxy is overrun by furries, as you call them. You know, humanoid animals. And of course, in the planet Toad world, they created an AI computer who goes by the name of Complex. And all of a sudden, Complex started brainwashing all the toads in their planet and created the Toad Empire. And the Toad Empire are like, well, they're kind of like the Third Reich of the Toad people. And of course, it's run by Toad Air Marshal, who's like the commander-in-chief of the Toad Empire, along with Toadborg, a giant toad-like cyborg, who was once a Toad troop, but now been turned into a robot. And of course, running the entire army of the Storm Toad Troopers. First it was the Stormtroopers, but now there's Toad Stormtroopers. And all of a sudden, Bucky O'Hare, the rabbit from another world, he started noticing that the Toad Empire decided to invade his rabbit planet and try to enslave the entire rabbit species, along with other animals. Now, Bucky, he wanted help by the Council, a group who calls himself the UAN, United Animal Federation. But of course they say they cannot help him unless he has proof. And he says, "You want proof? I'll give you proof." So, he's battling against a bunch of toads with this female psychic cat who goes by the name of Jenny. Now, she's a cat, and her ability, she has psychic powers. She can do telekinesis, she can shoot things out of her hands, and even, I don't know if she can read people's thoughts, but she can get into their minds. And of course they have a duck pirate, a 4-arm, 1-eyed duck who goes by the name of Dead-Eyed Duck. And of course they also have Blinky, the 1-eyed robot who is more like an engineer. And they used to have a And they also have a tactical officer who goes by the name of Bruce Baboon, but sadly, in the beginning, he gets lost in another dimension, and they don't know what happened to him. So they found another gorilla who's willing to help, named Brewster. And then from out of nowhere, from another galaxy to our world, there is a preteen, I guess I would say he would probably be a 13 or 14-year-old, named Willie DuWitt. Now, he is a smart nerd, but he gets picked on by bullies because he's a nerd. So he's sort of an outcast. And all of a sudden, Blinky the robot decided to work on the teleporter machine to see if they can find Bruce. But all of a sudden, it accidentally opened up the... it contacted to Wally's closet. So now as he opened up the closet, he's in another world. And he meets Bucky and the rest of the troops. But of course, nobody don't even know what a human is. And some people might be afraid of them. So they had him dressed up as a gorilla. A monkey. Dang mosquitoes. I hate them. Anyway, I always thought Dracula was the bloodsucker around here. Anyway, so Willie DuWitt joined the group who called himself the SPACE. And don't ask me what it means. They're initials, and I know it spells out space. But with Bucky O'Hare and his group, and a little help with Willie DuWitt, they were able to try to put a stop on the of the Toad menace and try to take down the Storm Toad troopers, and of course Bucky O'Hare hoping to go one-on-one with a Toad Air Marshal and probably destroy Complex and his reign of terror. And that is Bucky O'Hare for you. Now the comic book had started back in 1991, and it only lasted for like 5 issues. And then after that, that was it. And when the comic book got the cartoon studio attention, that's when they decided to make this. The Bucky O'Hare animated series. Now, sadly, here's the catch. Here's one thing, now, the show itself started back in 1991, same year as the comic, but sadly it ended in 1992. So it only lasted for like 1 season. And one thing that's really different between the comic book and the movie is they have made-up characters in the cartoons who become pretty helpful. Like on the good side, there is this hound dog who goes by the name of Commander Stardog. And of course, there is a alligator character that some of the members did not trust, and he goes by the name of Alligator. Alligator. You see, that's how it's pronounced. And it turns out that that some of their hunches were right. Alligator was definitely a traitor. And you want to know how they figured out? It was all the help of Commander Dogstar. Because his sense of smell, he can sense if somebody is a traitor or not. Who say you can't teach an old dog new tricks, huh? Anyway, he decided to join Bucky O'Hare and his group to battle against the evil Toads, since he has a nose on finding the enemies. They decided he's good enough to help the team. And here was one thing I discovered. When the cartoon was made, they made a merchandise of Bucky O'Hare action figures. Now, I remember when I was a little kid, back in 1991, my grandma, she spent all her money to buy the entire set of the Bucky O'Hare action figures. I did have the whole set, but sadly, when years gone by and I had to move out of the old house and into the new house, I pretty much lost most of the action figures, and probably some of them are completely lost and probably destroyed by something. I don't know what. But there are times I wish I like to find them and probably fix them if I could. Because they always say, toys, if you have old toys and you keep them around, they'll be very valuable. Especially toys that's only been around for like 1 year. They were planning to make some new action figures, but there was a problem. You see, when it comes to cartoons, if the merchandise aren't selling, then they end the cartoons. That's why Bucky O'Hare only lasted for like 1 season. It only lasted for like 1 season because not many people didn't bought all the toys of Bucky O'Hare, and they didn't continue on the merchandise because they were trying to make a second edition to the toys, but sadly it hadn't succeeded. But nowadays I'm hearing that there is another toy company, and they made these brand new design of Bucky O'Hare. But I bet those suckers are expensive because they're brand new, and I bet you I never could find them at Walmart. Heck, I have a hard time trying to find stuff on Doctor Who on Walmart. I mean, my mom found me this Doctor Who pocket watch online. And I got this sonic screwdriver on my favorite comic book store. And the only thing I can find at Walmart are the DVDs of Doctor Who. And that's it. Just DVDs. I wish they would sell more merchandise of Doctor Who. But anyway, one thing that a lot of people did not know, that when Bucky O'Hare was still popular, they made an arcade video game. And that started back in 1992, right after the series ended. So pretty much Konami, the same company who made my favorite video game, Castlevania, made an arcade Bucky O'Hare video game. And everybody loved the game so much, so therefore Nintendo made a video game cartridge of Bucky O'Hare. Sadly, I never played it, because I wasn't thinking much on Bucky O'Hare back then when I had my first Nintendo game. So I never tried any of the Bucky O'Hare video games, but I also heard that they're pretty awesome, even though they're more like a beat-em-up game, but it's still pretty cool to be precise. And you can easily watch the Bucky O'Hare cartoons on YouTube, as long as they don't remove them because of some copyrights bullcrap. I'm getting so sick and tired of YouTube keep removing things because of some legal purpose. I mean, I know it's got something to do with the ownership, but come on. But anyway, this here is my review of Bucky O'Hare. And I have to say, for a franchise, it is a pretty interesting story. And for those of you who are interested, why don't you go to your favorite comic book store and try to, or go to eBay, buy yourself a DVD of Bucky O'Hare or comic books, or if you have a Nintendo game, get yourself a game cartridge. Because I hear arcades are very expensive, and I love arcade games. Bucky! Captain Bucky O'Hare! Bucky! Captain Bucky O'Hare! Let's croak us some toad! Man, I always do a good impression of a frog. Well, this here is my review of Bucky O'Hare. Those of you who likes this review, please leave a comment down below, hit like and subscribe for more videos. And, well, one thing I have to announce, folks. If you want to know what's my next review is going to be, well, I reviewed a kids sci-fi franchise, but now I'm going to review something that's more adult. I'm going to review a British sex comedy called Space Out. So, adults beware. because, I mean, I ain't gonna show anything or say anything inappropriate. I'm just gonna tell you the basics of the story in the movie. And, of course, show you the actresses who starred in it. So, you better stay tuned for my review of Space Out. So, see you later.